Okay, so now that we've talked about trapezoids, now we're going to talk about kites. So kites is just a different kind of quadrilateral. There are no parallel sides like in trapezoids. Two of the sides are parallel. This one, none of them are parallel. But what is going to help us a lot is that a kite is cut up into these congruent triangles. So how does that help us? Well, that's going to tell us some sides and angles are equal. So how many congruent triangles are there? There's actually 3 pairs of congruent triangles. So we're going to highlight them in this little picture. Okay, so the first set, if you cannot tell, is this little one here and this little one here. They are congruent. So I know obviously they share the side in the middle. This bottom side and this bottom side are equal. The slanted side and slanted side, those are also equal. And we also know that the angles are equal. So like this far corner is going to match the far corner over there. If I know one of those is like 20, then I know that the other one is also going to be 20. So there's that pair. Another pair is on the bottom, if you could not tell. Down here and over here. Same thing, like this side and this side obviously match. These slanted sides match, and then the little angles are all going to match. And then the last side that might not be as obvious is the big one in the middle and this big one down the middle. Okay, so those are your 3 pairs of congruent triangles. So we're going to use those to help us figure out which things are equal, which things maybe aren't equal. And then the other thing we need to know, the diagonals, which are the lines that go through the middle, they are perpendicular. What? You learn, which means that in the middle, these are 90-degree angles. All of them are 90 degrees in the middle. And it also means we can use Pythagorean theorem, a squared plus b squared equals c squared, to get the slanted sides. So, knowing all of this information, how do we use that to like actually solve questions? So on number 1, it says solve for x. So here is my kite. I am going to draw one of the diagonals down the middle. Now, why am I only drawing one of them? Because I'm trying to solve for this x. Now, we know any 4-sided shape should add up to what number? They're angles, because these are angles. What should 4-sided shapes add up to? 360. We know that. Now, this is the one I'm trying to figure out. I know this one's 100. I know this one is 37. This one is blank. I need to know that so I can write an equation where all 4 of them add up to 360. Now, if I know that these triangles right here, boom and boom, if they are congruent, we know they are equal. Which angle matches the one that I'm missing? This angle over here matches which one from the other triangle? This 100-degree angle. So, taking away that mess so we can actually see, I know that means that this angle over here is also going to be 100. So now I'm ready. I have x, 100, 37, and another 100. And I know that those are supposed to add up to writing and speaking is hard, add up to 360. So I'm going to solve this equation. How do I do that? Well, there's no other x's to combine, so I'm just going to drop x down. But the other numbers, the 100, the 37, and the 100, I need to add them together. That is not, I wanted a new color. There we go. 100, 37, 100. 100 plus 37 plus 100, I would type that into Desmos and I would get 237. And I'm dropping 360 down. Okay. So I'm solving, what's the next step to solve? I got to move 237 to the other side. So minus 237, minus 237. And we got to type that in. That is not it. Where's my calculator? Minus 360 minus 237 is 123. So this cancels out. X drops down 123, and that is the value of X, okay? So I used that there were two congruent triangles to say, oh, this missing angle, it's actually 100 because it's the same as the one over there. And that all four of them in a four-sided shape, the angles add up to 360. Next question is similar. So this one, number 2, I'm still solving for X, and I am still talking about the angles in there. And I'm going to draw and cut it into my two congruent triangles because I have this missing angle again. Now I know this one up here is 38. This one is X. This one is 42. This blank angle is the same as which of the angles in this picture? Well, it's going to match up with the X. So I'm going to write the X over there just like we did in the first one. Oh, I said this side was 100, so this side's 100. The only difference is now it's X and X and not 100, 100. And it's four sides. So we know it still adds up to 360. So we're going to write that equation. So I have 38 plus X plus 42 plus X equals our 360. And we're going to solve that equation. So what can I combine together? Well, I can combine 38 and 42. So we're going to type that in. 38 plus 42 is 80. And what else can I combine together? My X and X is 2X. And I drop down 360. Okay, next step, I got to get that 80 to the other side. So how do I do that? Well, I'm going to minus the 80 to the other side. Okay, 2X is going to drop down. 360 minus 80, we're going to type in 360 minus 80 is 280. And last step, what do? I got to get rid of that 2. So I'm going to divide by 2. Divided by 2, and I get X equals, we're going to type in 280 divided by 2 is 140. Final answer. Okay. So we're figuring out which of the angles should be the same. Which one matches something else in the picture. If I draw my line down the middle, that helps me visualize, like I'm visualizing, oh, I would fold this in half over the line and the X and the X would line up. So I know I can put an X there. Okay, number 3. Now this one is already cut up. Now my X I want to know is in this corner up here. I know this angle down here is 56. So right now I can tell that they are in different triangles. Obviously the 56 is in this little one down here and the X is in this one up here. So I need to figure out where can I put 56 up here? Like how can I put it so that they're in the same triangle to help me? Now luckily for us, these little triangles are congruent triangles because they're both like the top half of little ones. So where would 56 go in the top triangle? Well, if I folded along this dotted line right here, then I know that this 56 angle would match up with the 56 right, whoopsies, on the other side, that this side would be 56 degrees, okay? So I have 56 in that corner, yay. I have X, all right, okay, yay. I know triangles, all 3 angles in a triangle are going to add up to 180. We learned that last semester. We learned it again when we did polygons. The only problem is I need to know what this third angle is. Well, if we look back at our properties, the diagonals are perpendicular, so that means the angle in the middle is always 90. So I'm going to change color, and we're going to put, oh, this is supposed to be 90, the box. I'll put a 90 just to make us feel better. Okay. So if I know this angle is 56, this one's 90, this one's X, they're supposed to add up to 180, so that's the equation I'm going to write. Okay, and we're solving. So I'm combining like terms. So I have 56 plus 90 I would type that in the calculator, is 146. We drop down our x. X has nothing to go with. Drop down 180. Nothing happened over there. Then I'm moving 146 to the other side. Minus 146 to the other side. Dropping down x. 180 minus 146. Let's type it in. Minus 146 is 34. So my answer is 34. Okay, so we're using that these two little triangles are congruent and are equal. And we're using, well, if it says it in this triangle, where can I put it in the matching triangle? And then I know, oh, the middle of the kite, all of those in the middle have to be 90. Okay, so in number 4, how am I going to solve for x? Well, my x is on this slanted side over here. Now, I know that this slanted side right here matches and is the same as this slanted side over here because of those two triangles. These two triangles. They would be the same. Now, do I know what LM is? No, so that's not super helpful. So I'm not going to say, oh, well, whatever LM is the same as what X is. I actually have to use something else about this triangle to figure out what X is. So what am I going to use? Well, this right here, this is a right triangle. And I know that one of the sides is 8 and one of the sides is 15 and the last side is X. So if I look at my properties we wrote at the beginning, it says we can use a squared plus b squared equals c squared to get the slanted side. So when I say slanted, I'm talking about these. Those are slanted. Okay, so we're going to use Pythagorean theorem. Here we go. So I'm going to use a squared plus b squared equals c squared. Okay, well, how do I got to label ABC. Across from 90 we know is always our C. And our other two sides are A and B. So what two numbers are we using as A and B? Well, that's going to be 8 and 15. Why is 3 there? To mess you up, to see if you know what you're doing. Okay, you don't need to use 3 to figure out the answer in this question. So I'm plugging in 8 and 15 and X. And we know to solve this, the 8 and the 15 squared are on the same side, so I can type that in the calculator. So I type 8 squared plus 15 squared is 289. It's x squared. And then last step, I'm going to square root it. And we're going to get a decimal probably. So we're just going to go ahead and type that in. Square root of 289. Oh, it's a whole number, 17. Lucky times. So that means that side, that slanted side is 17. I also know this side is 17. Okay? So, using the properties, you're going to go ahead and get started on the formative. Ask questions if you're not sure what you're supposed to be doing. Like if you don't know if you've used the right property or you don't know if you put the numbers in the right spot, make sure you ask. Otherwise, I need you to try the first question on the formative.